no EMFs. And then all of a sudden, we got this spike, went up like 2.8, say. And it was limited to a certain area and so high, and you can judge what's going on and that there's an anomaly of some kind or something happening in this spot. It's definitely not proof that there's a spirit there. It's just giving an indication that there might be something paranormal going on. This here is a K2 meter.
Put it up so they can see it.
We do use this. It's basically a simpler form of the Gauss meter. It measures EMF, electromagnetic energy, and this one gives us the visual sign, more of a, it's in the dark, like my son said, that we do most of our investigations, and it's this being not lit, it's difficult to read. And so we use this one because they have the lights. And
turn it on.
And I can turn it on for you. And so when there's nothing going on, there's just the one green light going. As something comes near this that interrupts the magnetic frequency, it will raise as far as the strength of the electromagnetic field as it's getting close. And what we do with this, Dad, is that if we want to have a conversation with possibly what's the person or the people who are in this facility or house that we're trying to communicate with, we'll use this for yes and no answers. So we'll tell them if the answer to our question is yes, we would like you to light up all the lights or come near it so that the lights can be lit. And if it's no, just stay away and back off. So we use that just for the visualness of being able to have a conversation, say.
And it flashes pretty good. Like if something comes up to it and we ask a question, that particular device is causing kind of a little bit of a stir because just like the EMF detector, it is a reader of electromagnetic frequencies. But that one is very, very sensitive. So if my cell phone, if I had it on with me and I get a text message or a phone call, that would pick it up. And it would flash really fast. So that's why one of the main rules is during an investigation, cell phones are off or on airplane mode, which it won't get that frequency. Now, when that goes off, we kind of like to test it. So if we put it at the edge of a table and we say, you know, wave your hand in front of it, try to pick it up. Anything that you try to do will make those lights go off. So if you understand that, could you try it out? And if the lights go off, great, okay. All right, I need to make sure that this is you. I'm going to count to like 4, but I'll count out of order. When I say the number 4, I want you to do that again. So I'll go like 3, 1, 4, and if it hits the 4 and those light up, oh, okay, well, I want to make sure this is not a coincidence. So this time I'm going to count to like 10, but I'll do it out of order. And if I say the number 8, I want you to do that again. If we get another hit, which we've had this happen before, where right on cue, it does it, we're like, okay, now this is something that's strange. You know, let's ask it more questions. You know, and we kind of have an idea of what's going on in the place before we investigate. So if we heard reports of a man, we'll say, are you a female? And our expected response would be nothing. You know, nothing would happen. Or, okay, well then are you a male? And then all of a sudden it would light up. Okay, then you can start narrowing it down. You can get down to the point where you could find out where they came from, their age, what year they think it is, just based on the questions on how you ask it.
And again, this is not 100% documented proof. It's just it's an instrument to help us sort of like document the claims that the people are having to validate them, or to have a conversation, get some answers from the people who are believed to be haunted or to be stuck at this place. So it's a good visual sign for us. These are digital voice recorders. This one, well, most all of ours record in stereo. It records on frequencies that we cannot hear.
Yeah.
It records on what, 600?
It can go all the way down to like 50 hertz, I believe.
50 hertz.
And the bases of it, and I have one here, they're the same exact thing. It doesn't matter really the model, because there is one model that's considered like the holy grail to have, but it's massively expensive and very old. But all digital voice recorders basically do the same thing. As most people know, you could use them for conferences or meeting or notes. Most press use these, but what we use them for is we could place it down at a spot, walk away so that no one's there, and all of it would be recording a silence. Well, if all of a sudden you get a voice on here, then no one was in that spot. That's how we would pick it up. Or we could walk around with it, sit down, ask questions, and then play it back. Now, what's weird about these is there's a movie that came out that kind of it was called White Noise, and it kind of introduced the mainstream public to the concept of what's called an EVP, and that's an electronic voice phenomenon. What it is what could be happening now around us that we're just not aware of is there could be spirit activity, someone talking or something that we just cannot hear. They can't muster enough energy to make an audible voice. Sometimes they can. That's where you hear, oh, I hear someone talking, or someone told me to get out of a house. That takes a lot of energy. But sometimes they can only muster enough energy to speak, but it's so low that we can't hear it or we just don't notice it. Well, this picks up very low frequencies so that when it's played back, you can actually, the playback frequency is a lot higher so that we can hear ourselves and then any potential responses to those questions.
We sort of tell people it's the opposite of like a dog whistle. Dog whistles are higher frequencies that we can't pick up, and dogs can hear it.
Yeah.
These are on a lower, they're a lower range frequency that they're recorded on, but the playback is standard listening frequency. And somehow, for some reason, these do legitimately pick up voices.
It's been some of our best evidence. I mean, are these, but what else we have over here?
The next one is, we utilize in most paranormal investigation groups, utilize CCTV or closed caption television cameras. They're security cameras for parking lots and for stores. And they're used because they shoot and record in the dark, in the infrared phase. And so like this one, this is we call it our Big Daddy, because it will shoot up to 300 feet and it lights up pretty well 300 feet worth of area. Whereas the smaller ones that we use, we have 4 of those, is more of a wide angle. It's used for 40 to 70 feet. And they're, like Nick said earlier, each piece is recorded. And these are only cameras. We only use the cameras because we want to keep the audible sounds separated and recorded on a different device. It's because I've heard that there's breakdown in the recording from cameras and audio combined. I'm not sure.
We set these up to in places of known activity. If someone keeps saying, we've had multiple reports of a lady passing down a hallway dressed in white. Well, we can't be in that hallway the entire night because of other potential activity in places, and we like to check everywhere. So what we'll do is we'll set one of these up, and they'll be up on a tripod or, and positioned down the space or in the spot where activity is seen. And this way we can have a visual of that entire spot throughout the night. And that's why we have to go back and watch every second, because every second is recorded through here. And that actually leads us to the next thing, which goes into our DVR system, which is this guy right here. This is a computer that we have built. It's a 4-channel DVR system. We could upgrade it higher if we wanted to, but 4 seems to work for us. But what this is just basically a computer. There is software on here that will allow us to record what is picked up off of these camcorders, and it'll save it into a format on here so that we can review it later. We have it set pretty high. It's just, like I said, a basic computer, but the hard drive in there is quite large, so that we're able to, we have well over 2 years in that. We also have separate hard drives of other activity that we could potentially save up to 10 years worth of activity recorded from this. So that's what this is.
Well, this one too, this one isn't your what do they call it? Repeated manufactured process type DVR recorder that you would find necessarily in a store or a gas station. We had this specially built for us by a computer company up there in Winooski called ASR. And they do a lot of our wire and computer work as far as what we need.
Okay, there's only a couple more left, but this right here is it's actually just a regular standard AM/FM radio. And what it's considered is, it's called a shack hack. And there's a way that you can open this up and mess around with the inside of it so that it prevents the, when you scan through channels, it prevents it from sticking. It's another very controversial, not really 100% proof device, but we've had some weird things come up. And what I could do is I could just kind of demonstrate that what we do is when we turn it on, we have normally a set of external speakers so that we can hear this, but right now it's just getting this frequency. So what we do is we have it set on scan, and you can see that the numbers aren't stopping. And what that does is it's creating a white noise effect, and it will pick up some music. You'll have blips of music. But so what the crazy thing is with this is that every now and then you'll get answers to questions that we ask that span 4 or 5 scans, potentially 2 different radio stations. So if we ask, what's your name, and it says, my name is Frank, well, that would, most skeptics say, well, that's just a radio stations. Well, how does 2 radio stations put together, my name is Frank? They would have to be completely in sync. And it does happen. It's very rare that we do get something on there, but it's just something else we like to try.
We utilize 2 of these. Usually they're hard disk cameras, which means they record right to the camera and we download it to the computer. It shoots in night shot. It's old. They stopped manufacturing cameras, digital video cameras, with night shot for one reason or another. Maybe illegal use, if people were using them illegally or not. But these, we have 2 Sonys. One's a 30 gig hard drive camera and one's a 60, and we usually use these now for static cameras on a tripod to help if we have more than 4 areas that we need cameras positioned at. And then we have 2 what they call high def camcorders, 2 Sonys, and we prefer Sony camcorders for some reason. They have better night shot as far as we're concerned, and they record on high def 1080p.
1080p.
And we use those for walk around. But in the dark, if there's 3 of us walking around at the same time, the 3rd person will utilize one of these because we can only see walking in what's in front of us through this little LED screen. So when we're in a room or walking down the hallways or down the stairs, the only thing we can see is what's in this screen. So, and we show people, like we'll show our customers, like, this is what we see.
And we turn off the night shot and it's complete pitch black.
Yeah, so this helps us get around and maneuver. Also, they're not just cameras, they're our eyes.
This right here actually would attach to what we walk around with. And this is just an IR light, and when we turn it on, it won't be able to be picked up on there, but there's a light up here, and there's little red lights on the inside that are very hard to see.
IR lights.
They're IR lights for night vision use, so that helps us to be able to light the room up.
That will be attached to one of these.
Yeah. Now, one of the most recent pieces we've got, and as you can tell, this is the last one that we'll show right now, the technology is getting pretty high, and this is a device that was that is made by Shannon Sylvia, or I got this from Shannon Sylvia, who was on Ghost Hunters International, and anyone can pick these up. ShannonSylvia.com, you can pick these up for a good price. And what this does is, I'll put it on this back board here just to see. We normally have this set up on a tripod, and what it is the yeah, you can see it. Actually, it'll be right there. Here we go. We can set it up in a grid pattern like this, or we could rotate it to whichever way we wanted. But most of the time, we try to get these dots up here. It sits on a tripod, and we just have a camera sitting at it. And what this does is if something walks in front of it, blocks it out, I don't know if they can see it on the screen, but
You just see a blow.